Be strong.
Why protein is important.
Why do you think protein is important?
Protein is important for a number of reasons. For one, it helps to build and repair muscles.
That's interesting. I know that a lot of athletes and bodybuilders consume a lot of protein, but is it important for everyone?
Yes, it's important for everyone. Our bodies need protein to function properly. It's also important for our immune system and helps to regulate our hormones.
I had no idea that protein was so important. What are some good sources of protein?
There are many good sources of protein. Some of the best sources include meat, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, nuts, and seeds.
What about people who are vegetarians or vegans? How can they make sure they get enough protein?
Vegetarians and vegans can still get plenty of protein from plant-based sources like beans, lentils, tofu, tempeh, quinoa, and nuts. There are also many protein supplements made from plant-based sources.
I see. So how much protein do we need each day?
The amount of protein we need depends on a number of factors, like our age, gender, and activity level. Generally, adults need around 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. Athletes and people who are very active may need more.
That's good to know. What happens if we don't get enough protein?
If we don't get enough protein, our bodies may start to break down muscle to get the protein it needs. This can lead to muscle weakness and fatigue. It can also affect our immune system and hormone regulation.
That doesn't sound good. Is it possible to get too much protein?
Yes, it's possible to get too much protein. Too much protein can put a strain on our kidneys and lead to dehydration. It can also lead to weight gain if we consume more calories than our body needs.
I see. So, what's the best way to make sure we're getting the right amount of protein?
The best way is to eat a balanced diet with a variety of protein sources. It's also important to pay attention to portion sizes and not overdo it on protein supplements.
Thank you for explaining all of this to me. It's really helpful to know why protein is important and how to make sure we're getting enough.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Actually, I do have another question. Are there any health benefits to consuming more protein than the recommended daily amount?
There is some evidence to suggest that consuming more protein than the recommended daily amount may have some health benefits. For example, a higher protein intake may help with weight loss, as it can increase feelings of fullness and boost metabolism. It may also help to preserve muscle mass as we age.
That's good to know. But you mentioned earlier that too much protein can lead to weight gain. So how can consuming more protein help with weight loss?
While consuming too many calories from any source can lead to weight gain, protein is more satiating than carbohydrates or fat, which means it can help to reduce appetite and calorie intake. Additionally, the process of digesting and metabolizing protein burns more calories than digesting and metabolizing carbohydrates or fat, which can also boost metabolism.
I see. That's really interesting. What about the idea that too much protein can be bad for our bones? I've heard that consuming too much protein can lead to calcium loss and weaker bones.
There is some evidence to suggest that high-protein diets may increase calcium loss in the urine, which could potentially lead to weaker bones over time. However, this effect may be offset by the fact that protein is necessary for building and repairing bones. Overall, the evidence on this is mixed, and it's still not entirely clear how much protein is optimal for bone health.
That makes sense. It seems like there's still a lot we don't know about the optimal amount of protein for health. But it's good to know that getting enough protein is important for a variety of reasons.
Yes, exactly. And as long as we're eating a balanced diet with a variety of protein sources, we should be getting the protein we need to stay healthy.
Thanks for all the information, Leah. I feel like I have a much better understanding of why protein is important now.
You're welcome, Alex. I'm glad I could help. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
Actually, one more question. What are some good protein sources for someone who is trying to lose weight?
Some good protein sources for weight loss include lean meats like chicken and turkey, fish, low-fat dairy products, and plant-based sources like beans, lentils, and tofu. These foods are generally lower in calories than other protein sources like red meat or full-fat dairy products.
That's helpful. Thank you so much, Leah.
You're welcome, Alex. Anytime.